Hey y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media. Welcome back to another book review, guys. This time we are talking about another Louis L'Amour book, guys. I know, surprise, surprise, when will I ever be done reading these books? Probably never, guys. In all honesty, when I finish reading all the way through his entire bibliography, I'll probably pick them up and read them again. But this time, guys, we are talking about Over on the Dry Side. So what is Over on the Dry Side about? Well, let me tell you real quick that this, I believe it was, what is it, 1975. So this book was written in 75. Essentially, this book is about a gentleman named Chantry. He ends up coming home to find out that his brother's been murdered and that a couple squatters stumbled upon his brother's land, and they've kind of turned it into their own, if you will. You know, they're tending the land, they're taking care of the area around it. You know, they've cleaned up the house and whatnot. The cabin, I guess, is the best way to put it. And so Chantry comes to kind of just like these guys. It's a father and a son. He comes to kind of get a sense of ease with them. And so, you know, as the story progresses within the first few chapters, we end up finding out that sure enough, this is, you know, Chantry's brother's property and whatnot. And, you know, the whole story behind this is, how did Chantry's brother end up getting murdered? You know, there's this talk of this group that's in the area that there is a treasure nearby, and that Chantry's brother, you know, had this treasure. And is that associated and related to why his brother's dead? You know, is there a treasure? Chantry doesn't know. So we spend this whole story essentially trying to figure out, is there a treasure, and who killed Chantry's brother, and who really is the bad guys in this story. I will give Louis L'Amour this. You know, he gives us some hope that there's some characters may not be such bad guys or as bad as other characters in the story. So what I will say, as far as that goes, you know, I definitely would recommend reading this if you're looking for a little bit more of a Western mystery. You know, this definitely is within that vein. What I will say though, you know, this is not by any means the best Louis L'Amour book I've read. I'm not gonna lie, guys. You know, this is kind of just middle of the road. It's good. I mean, I think all Louis L'Amour books are good. This just isn't, you know, anything that's spectacular that I have to say, stop everything you're reading and go out of your way to read it. Again, I really enjoyed this. You know, it's very interesting in a way that it kind of feels like a couple different Louis L'Amour books, kind of with aspects of each one put into one book. So again, you know, like I said, I would recommend reading this. As far as that goes, you know, there is one part that I didn't really care a whole lot for in the story, and I don't think it's really spoilerish. There is, obviously it's a Louis L'Amour book, there's a lady in this, and there's a little bit of a power struggle between two characters in this, and who's gonna get the girl. And it didn't really make sense to me, especially when we find out some information about the girl. So again, that part didn't really do a whole lot for me, if I'm being honest. And again, you know, that's just a nitpick. I want to be honest with you guys when I do these reviews. But again, Over on the Dry Side, a pretty nice, short, sweet Louis L'Amour book. You know, I think this clocked in around about 180 pages. So again, nice, short, sweet, straight to the point Louis L'Amour book, which is something that I've grown to love. You can fly through a Louis L'Amour book in 1, 2, shoot, even maybe 3 sittings and still enjoy it. So again, guys, Over on the Dry Side, not a super long review, but I just wanted to get this out there. You know, I read that a couple weeks ago. So yeah, like I said, I do recommend reading it. It's not anything that I would recommend drop everything to pick it up. But if you're looking, like I said, for a mystery Western, it's not a bad gig, if you will. So again, guys, as always, you guys have a good one and stay safe.